Hi everyone, my name is Andrea McGowan and I am a first year student in the School of Public Health studying nutritional sciences. I'm here to talk to you today about cell cultured meat and the environmental and social justice impacts of that concept. Just as a disclaimer, I'm by no means an expert in this topic. I've just developed a personal interest and have done a couple research projects on it throughout my years in school. Cell cultured meat is kind of a strange concept. Some of you may or may not have already heard of it, but it refers to the concept of meat produced via cell culture rather than from a whole slaughtered animal. Sounds kind of dystopian, maybe it sounds like it's out of a movie to you, but it is something that's going on in today's society. To parse down the biology of it, essentially you remove a cell from an animal, a live animal, and you can use that cell and grow it in a cultured medium. So, for context, I want to introduce my dad. Here's a picture of us when I was a very cute child and he was much younger. But he is your typical dad. He loves dad jokes. He's a huge meat and potatoes kind of guy and a big Steelers fan. He is similar to most Americans in that he loves to consume meat and animal protein and probably won't stop doing that anytime soon, much to my dismay, and no matter how many conversations I have with him about meat consumption. His habits are pretty on par with the average American. So the average industrialized country is predicted to consume on average 220.1 pounds of meat per capita per year by 2030. The United States alone has already surpassed that significantly, with an average of 270.7 pounds of meat per capita per year. That's a pretty large, significant amount of meat consumption in our country already. With significant meat consumption, there's also a large environmental burden because of that. 18% of greenhouse gas emissions are attributed to livestock production, while 8% of global human water usage and 30% of world's ice-free surfaces are utilized to produce livestock for our consumption. Cell-cultured meat represents a great solution to reducing the carbon footprint of meat production. It results in 7 to 45% lower energy usage, 78 to 96% lower greenhouse gas emissions, and 99% lower land use. This is all based on projections if we were to utilize cell-cultured meat as a meat alternative. So, just to sum it all up in a nice handy-dandy Venn diagram, the problem is that we have a growing population, excessive meat consumption patterns, which will result in increased environmental burden and poor health outcomes. You can see in this diagram, it all laid out, that those three problems can result in negative health implications, increased demand, and large environmental footprint of meat consumption, thus contributing to our current problem. So, what does cell-cultured meat look like right now? Where are we at in the field, and where do we have to go in order to make this a viable solution to the large meat consumption practices that Americans engage in and the environmental impact that has? So first, when you create cell-cultured meat, the macronutrient and micronutrient profile stays largely the same depending on the culture and medium that you use. That being said, you can selectively choose a particular cell from an animal that might have a lower saturated fat or a lower trans fat or better micronutrient profile than the average source of meat. This could thus benefit the health impacts that large amounts of meat consumption can have on the American health. In addition, right now, the pricing is pretty ridiculous. At first, the first burger was $300,000. A single burger, $300,000. I know, quite a lot. Then it got reduced down to $600, and the future projections are that it'll be around $11. So it's gradually becoming more cost effective, but it's still a pretty pricey thing for Americans to consume. In addition, the USDA and FDA were kind of battling it out about who would regulate this new food product on the market. In 2019, they released a document explaining that it would be joint regulation between both of them. So, with all of this in mind, what are the social justice implications of cell cultured meat? Will it be something that only the elite, wealthy, and high socioeconomic status individuals can purchase? Will everyone in the country want to purchase something like this? What other environmental impacts will this new production and new technology have on other natural resources in our environment? There's not enough information right now to figure out all of those questions, but for now, I think we can just ponder the possibility that the next burger on your plate could be made in a lab. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.